Welcome back. My name is Ashley McKenzie, and this is FOSS Structures of Life Investigation 5 Best Beetles. As I said in Investigation 4, best beetles is usually done in place of the land snails. However, if you have access to land snails and you have time and you want to do both, absolutely go for that. This usually takes 6 to 8 class sessions, but there is some room for condensation if you give out a homework piece at the end. In this unit, students are going to investigate and maintain a best beetle habitat. They're going to compare the best beetle to the crawfish, and they're going to monitor and observe the best beetle over a given period of time. You should have ordered the best beetles during Investigation 1. That was a few weeks ago. If you didn't do that, you're going to need to do it now and wait 10 days for them to arrive. So hopefully you have some type of time filler to fill in place while waiting. You're going to need to gather wood pieces with bark. They do like the bark sometimes for the best beetles to eat, just decaying wood. They do come with 2 small pieces, but I find that's not enough for them. And also leaf litter. They like a bottom layer of leaf litter, the wood on top. Make sure you spray the habitat. They do need water, even though they have that wood and leaf litter in there. They need to be sprayed with water. Otherwise, they're pretty easy animals to keep. In part 1, Best Beetles at Home, this will take 1 class session. Again, you're going to need that decaying wood, leaf litter, the empty basins with covers, your best beetles, and a best beetle log. You want to demonstrate the students how to properly hold and pick up the best beetles. I notice if one's making a soft screeching sound, that's what it kind of sounds like. It means it's a little annoyed or bothered. So work with another one. Leave that one alone. Let it relax a little bit. They don't bite. They're pretty friendly little animals, but their legs do feel like Velcro is what I tell my students. So I warn them of that before they hold them. I say their legs feel like Velcro. They'll stick to you a little bit as you're trying to pull them off, but they can't hurt you. Like I said, they're friendly. They're little friendly things. They look scary with the little horn-like structures on top of their head, but they're not. The best beetle log, again, I use this for if students finish ahead of time, they can go to the best beetle habitat and record those observations when they finish their work. There's a literacy extension that I like to give for homework. I do this at the end of part 1 after we've done some exploring of the best beetles. Otherwise, I give it at the beginning of part 2. I'll read the story if I don't have enough time at the end of part 1. And it's just the life of best beetles. This story can be found on page 30 of the Best Beetle Folio. It's found either in the hard copy teacher guide or on FOSS Web. Again, if you don't have that FOSS Web login information, visit the SIS page and then the science page once on to SIS. The story is unfinished, so students must finish it with what they know about how to care for best beetles and any questions they have. It's a pretty short story. If you find that your students might need the printed out version to bring home to finish the story, make sure you prepare that ahead of time also. Part 2, comparing the crawfish and the beetles. So this takes 2 class sessions. On day 1, you're going to give students best beetles at their table. Each group's going to have about 2-3 best beetles in the. You're not going to be able to do the habitats because you only have about 2 of those in your class. You can put them in little cups or smaller containers, and they're going to just fill in the observations. Walk around, ask them those key questions that are in the teacher folio. Remind students to pick up and handle the beetles gently. Noise level down. Again, I use that as a management piece. The quieter they are, the more active the beetles will be. Remind them how to fill in the Venn diagram on day 2. How are they different from the crawfish? How are they the same? Goes in the middle. I kind of do this in form of think, pair, share. So I have them work alone first. I have them fill in what they know in their Venn diagram by themselves. Then they pair up with the people at their table, fill in what they may be missing, work together, think of more ideas, and then we share out as a class and fill up a Venn diagram as a class. Part 3, the beetle pole. So this part is given just like the land snails. You're going to need to attach a piece of thin floss you could use, or the thinner rope that they give in the kit, to the best beetle. I find it's a little difficult to do that at first, so I attached a video that you can watch on how to do this. Not all best beetles will be cooperative. Therefore, have a few of them ready to go. One best beetle per group. You want the best beetle walking on the paper towel. They need something for those legs to attach to. If you put them on a smooth table, they won't be able to pull it because they have nothing to attach their sticky Velcro legs to it to pull. You do not want the cup with the coins on the paper towel. It won't slide across nicely. You want that on the table. So make sure you leave enough room in your string so that this cup stays on the table surface and the best beetle can grow across the paper towel. Fun fact I'd like to share with my students, 1 out of every 4 animals in the world is a beetle. Kind of neat, scary, interesting fact. You want to have the scales and gram pieces ready to go from that measuring kit that I described before. It's not one of the boxes, but the separate plastic bin instead. Part 4, choosing your own investigation. This takes 4 to class sessions if you do it the way it's described in the teacher folio. I, however, find that I don't have enough time for that. So what I do is on day 1 of the class, we go over project ideas. Students will fill in the proposal sheet. I'll collect it. I'll get whatever supplies they may need if I have access to them. Otherwise, I let them know that they will need to either pick something else or have these materials at home. And then they'll have about 2 weeks to work on this for homework. And on the second class session, this is our presentations. 3 minutes to present, 1 minute for questions, and the next student's up. If you want, you can have them work together. I like to have students work alone because oftentimes parents like to help with this part of the homework since they're doing a project at home. And I use this also as a form of assessment to see the student's knowledge. End of the unit assessment. So there's a bunch of different assessments included in the Structures of Life. There's something called I-Check. And this is just something, if you have time at the end of each investigation, you can give the student and they can go through and answer those questions just to see if they know the answers, give it to you, check those misconceptions, see what you need to go back and reteach. And then there's also the end of the unit assessment. That is all for the Structures of Life. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you next time for another unit.